Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know.
Oh, hello. I'm in a funny part of the screen this morning. How are you? Let's see if we can sort that out. I've got one light, and I'm in a wonky, wonky present. There we go. And let's get the resolution right on the screen as well. This isn't a problem, by the way. I was with Colin last night, Carman Colin, and he was saying, "Oh, I never see the start of your show. There's something wrong." So I can afford to tinker with a few things this morning. Not so good for those of you watching on catch up, perhaps. But look, you get to see how the magic is made this morning. So yeah, making sure everything's right on the screen after the show has started. Marvelous. We're still completely off grid, powered up by the Bluetti Elite 100. It's firing up the studio computer, the monitor that I'm looking at. One of the lights. Now that's not the Bluetti's fault. I've got my remote control here. Can you see how it's lighting different sides of my face? Oh dear. One light is on. The other light is off. So what's happening there is that when I press the button to switch the other one off, that then turns the other one off, and we end up with this infinite loop of either having that light on or that light on, which now looks like I'm broadcasting by candlelight. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to see if I can reach behind and turn it off, and then back on again, right? Right. So that's that one. Oh, it's a bit cold. And then there's that. Oh, they're both on now. If I press warm and 20%, there we go. That's what we're looking for. I think we're nearly all set and ready to go with the Good Morning Portugal show. Olá, bom dia, alegria, Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, the live stream, the podcast, and of course, the Portugal Club, where we'll go with a few prompts for this morning's show. Captain's log, Captain Carl, log of the 10th yesterday. Squirreling a few things to one side for your delight this morning. Extremely accurate map of Portugal stereotypes. I bet you can't wait for that. New train stock being purchased or has been purchased. We'll find out more about that as well. Sad news. Oh, pickleball, a free pickleball session if you're up for that. I was in company last night where the price of paddle, do you call it padel or paddle? Was being questioned. Pickleball, I think, a little bit better value and a slightly different game, not quite as strenuous for those with crunchy knees. Oh, talking of crunchy knees, fantastic first in real life session with Jeremy College, he of the What on Earth is Qigong book that he wrote here, and went to his IRL in real life class last night at the Junta de Freguesia of San Martinho de Porto. And he's a very good teacher. He was teaching people through his tablet. Sounds like Moses, doesn't he? He was teaching people through the tablet at the front of the class who can access his work the world over as long as they're on the internet. So we had people tuning in, as well as us, a handful of us doing Qigong, I think, with him for the first time. Now, that class is growing here in San Martinho de Porto, and a portent, an omen of great things. Can an omen be used in a positive way? Well, I'm using it in a positive way this morning. A sign of good things to come and more healing type events happening here in San Martinho de Porto, the bay of which you can see behind me with a little bit of evening sunshine. Yeah, and sadly, last night, the first of our, it's all about the IRL, doing things in real life now. As well as all this online malarkey. Sadly, though, we took the trouble to get together in real life, but a water main, I think, had burst. This really is the time of discombobulation, isn't it? And I think somebody, where we did manage to find somewhere to eat that was risking not having running water. I believe it's illegal to open an establishment without running water. In Portugal for the dinner service. I don't know if that's true or not. Certainly that was the line that was taken. I understand why by our host last night. They weren't happy to go ahead with opening their establishment with no water supply because of a burst water main. So the quiz, which I've worked hard on and really, really enjoyed doing, actually, 20 questions about Portuguese culture, life, wine and food, the president, all sorts of bits and pieces about Portugal that I've really enjoyed putting together. And I was going to share those 20 questions last night with anybody who would be good enough to come along and hear me, and win a prize, learn a bit about Portugal, have a bit of fun, and win a prize. And Anna at Biocultural had set up some really nice prizes, actually. Oh, quick good morning, Gemini. Matty Kate, good morning to you. T-Duck, no music. No, you missed the music. No intro, just an ad. Oh, an ad for you. Get premium. Premium's awesome. Sarah Yerman, Team Yerman, and Chris in already this morning. And I'll come back to your comments in just a moment. And Adrian's just popped in as well. We've got, I think we have a message from His Majesty's Public Transport as well. So we'll come back to all of those. But and your comments are now on the screen if you want to pop them up there. They can be, they're there for all the world to see. Where did I get to? Yeah, Burst Watermain. The quiz didn't happen. And thank you to Anna for. I knew you'd do us proud with a wonderful menu and great service and great hosting. But there were lots of little touches. The restaurant was laid out beautifully. And sadly, we couldn't do it last night. So we are rescheduled to next Tuesday evening. And what we couldn't eat last night was all prepped and ready to go. We're going to be having lunch there today. So anybody who's in the area who wants to join us at Biocultural for lunch, we'll have a convivial lunch this morning in this beautiful place that you see before you on the screen there. Actually, I've got a little video as well. I might share the video of how Anna had set up the wonderful Biocultural. If you are coming to San Martino de Porto, this is a really important restaurant and experience to have while you're here. So yeah, I would love to share that video with you. So I might do that later on. Paul Rees joining us at 8:30 this morning as well. Yeah, that's the little quiz. Oh, that's the menu I think that Anna had set aside or created especially for us. And a little, lovely little Portugal club quiz, welcome menu, somewhere to make notes. I'd done a proper formal quiz sheet, which was really awesome. And above and beyond my usual attention to detail, quite frankly. So I'll come back to that and the ambience and the environment. And if by any chance you're in San Martino de Porto this lunchtime, come and join us from 1 o'clock. And the rescheduled quiz, hopefully water will be back on next Tuesday. So we didn't have a soft launch. We had a completely flaccid launch last night because of circumstances beyond our control. It will launch again upright and ready for action, hopefully next Tuesday, the 17th of March, and a lunch today. Now, yeah, when we did find somewhere that was prepared to open up for the evening, and very good it was too. I won't dob them in just in case I am compromising them for opening up. They actually might have had water on their side of the bay. But I sat next to somebody who said to me, "Is it normal, this what's happening with the water? How often do you get cut off from electricity? How often?" And she was saying, "Oh yeah, I'm cut off regularly from electricity and internet." And I said, "I can't answer that anymore. I don't know what the baseline is. I don't know what the benchmark is. Since that turning point in April, the Apagão, where we had the big blackout across the country and the Iberian Peninsula, there isn't a normal to refer to." Oh yeah, and talking of which, it's there in every part of our lives at the moment, isn't it? And that's why I'm calling it the Great Discombobulation. That's what we're going through. And don't worry, folks, we've got this. We're gonna. I don't know if even we're going to come out the other side, because that suggests that we are returning to some sort of normal. I think we're in an evolutionary step potentially for humanity. Oh, is that the off-grid glitching and lagging there at the moment? That's all part of the Great Discombobulation as well, getting used to different power supplies and how we do things. All the things, basically, one definition of the Great Discombobulation might be that all the things we've taken for granted in our life are now being challenged, undermined, or completely taken away. And we're going to have to think of new things and new ways of and this is the important thing. I think this is the really important thing. And we had a great conversation about to me, the most important things in life. Religion came up. I was with some dining companions who said, "Oh, we don't want to be too religious." I said, "Be as religious as you want. I don't mind. I mean, let's talk about something serious and meaningful instead of just blah, blah. Ooh, British weather, blah, whatever. What's the best kind of gin at the moment? Let's talk about something real. Let's talk about life and death and truth and God. It's about time we did, isn't it?" And maybe that's why we're in the predicament we're in, because we never talk about anything truly serious or meaningful or powerful. Just skirt around these issues. So open season. Let's talk about what you want to talk about. Let's talk about it as fully and deeply as possible and respectfully. And it was great inviting that level of conversation. But the point I was beginning to make before I interrupted myself for already the 13th time this morning, at 12 minutes past 8 here on the 11th of March 2026, in the age of discombobulation, is I got to the point where I was saying we need to find new ways of doing what we're really here to do, which begs the question, what are we really here to do? What is our life really about? Because it's a question we haven't been able to avoid, isn't it? Everyone's been busy, living their lives in the modern way, getting from A to B, getting from A to Z, being born, having things happen, then dying in this great sort of mechanistic, rational span of life. And the whole idea of why we might be here, the philosophical question, the spiritual question, can be avoided. We've done everything we can to avoid that question in a way. And I think we're being minded, guided to ask that question and set up our lives such that our lives are an honest endeavor in meeting what us humans came here to really do in this short time that we appear to be here. Answers in the chat about what you think that might be, because it's not, I'm happy to say all of that, but it's up to us each and individually, I think, to see what it is that we're here to do and do that. Or maybe that's part of the problem. There is no unity of vision for humanity. That's certainly a symptom of what we're going through at the moment. By the way, you have tuned into the Good Morning Portugal show, and Carl's sermon of the day. We will move on to other things. Good for you, Matty. No electricity, not going to happen to me. Well, pride comes before a fall. It's not that you have discovered a Tesla-like, and by that I mean the original man, not the products named after him. I don't think you've created an infinite supply of electricity. You've hacked the supply, as in not you. You're not cheating in any way, but you found a new way to do it. And I'm very pleased for you. Me too. This morning, I happened to be off grid, doing the show, but we can't be too complacent about that, can we? All these things ultimately need replacing. We get a little bit of a cheap laugh, don't we, that we've got power while other people might not. But it's not a given. It's something that has to be created and worked for, and in some way designed. And it can stop the parts need replacing. If you've got no sunshine, you haven't got any electricity, I don't think, unless you've established a hydro system or something like that. Oh, I've got a cat joining me now as well. I'm surrounded. There's 2 cats here now this morning. I wonder if they're the only ones enjoying my sermon this morning. Your XXX message had to be approved. Too much love right there. Please, yes, please. Please, could you attenuate and moderate your greetings? No XXX, lots of love here. Thank you very much. And that is also a brilliant sign, isn't it, of the age we've moved to, where Welsh Jackie is just giving us some love, but in an age of other influences and darker forces, XXX means something else as well, which has to be moderated by dear T Duck here. Well, at least Kate thinks I've hit the nail on the head. It's up to the individual to determine what the purpose of their life is. Yeah, and I suppose what I'm suggesting is that question even being asked at the moment? And are our heads finally coming up from underneath the water, from underneath the covers, or wherever our heads have been buried for the last few decades? And are we addressing the big questions and how we might address, not only address the question, but address the answers as well? And arguably, even though this is one of the great sort of philosophical, poetic ironies of our time, I suppose, is although it's an individual matter, isn't it, to be responsible for your own purpose and happiness, if that doesn't happen for everyone, those not engaging in that process of ensuring that they are responsible for their own happiness tend to be a little bit of a pain to the others who are trying to do that, as we're seeing at the moment, right? There are a few loose cannons knocking around who feel like it's okay to impinge and infringe on the well-being of others. We are in the peak of that sort of behavior. I think a wonderful and delicious poetry to philosophical poetry to play with this morning. I got a generator, and I'm planning to add some wind turbines for the winter. When we were discussing this earlier, though, I think you have to have a massive wind turbine to make any difference, do you not? I'm interested. I did report that back to Mrs. M. Our next stage is to get a solar panel for the Bluetti in my tentative steps towards self-sufficiency. And we together, we pretty much poo-pooed wind turbines. But tell us more about that. Have you not got a stream on your land? There's also for a little bit of hydropower. It's all about scale, isn't it? It's all about scale. Right. Let's see what else we've got before Paul Rees joins us this morning. And he's taking us to October. Find out more a little bit later on. And when I mentioned October, Paul, to one of our colleagues, and he said, "Is that 5 or 7?" He's got 2 Octobers, has he? Right. All will be revealed, I think, a little bit later on. Hola, bon dia from Chris this morning. How are you doing? Just had to delete a post due to an autocorrect. Well, thank you very much. That's like taking your shopping trolley back, isn't it? The great test of morality in a society. Who does and who doesn't return their shopping trolley? I have got a bit of a development on that. You do see that as a meme. You know, you can judge a society or a person by whether they take their shopping trolley back or not after they finish shopping. You can, Paul. Paul's probably the person who doesn't take it back the way he's behaving behind the scenes here. I'm going to ask him. I'm going to quiz him directly about that. And all of you, do you take your shopping trolleys back or not? Now, the appendix to that, as I was wheeling a shopping trolley around, one of the smaller ones in Intermarché the other day, bear with me, there is a point to this, is I got a wonky shopping trolley. Now, I'm the sort of person who does take it back. And I take it back not just by the, Caja Dois, Caja Tres. I don't leave it there. If I've got the chance and I'm queuing up, I'll take it back to where you pick it up when you come into the store. But do I take back the wonky trolley or do I report it? Because if I'm the sort of person who takes back his trolley, but I'm taking back a trolley that's a real pain in the bum to wheel around the store for an old lady, perhaps because the wheels don't work anymore, am I having a negative effect on society? Take that, the guy who made the meme about shopping trolleys. AI is taking away jobs. Actually, can I just make a correction straight away? It's the humans using AI that might be taking away the jobs. I'm not aware any yet, although probably another human has figured out a way of AI firing people so they don't have to do that themselves directly to somebody's face. But it is like any tool, it's the human behind it that's the problem, isn't it? Not because of AI, but because business think that they can save money using AI. Okay, so there you go, back to the humans. Only to find out that AI gets it wrong and causes the company to lose more money. Have you got a specific example of that, Chris? No surprise there, says Matty. I see many companies using AI for customer service. Now, is that an intentional autocorrect typo? Because that's a good one. Customer service. Swerving away from dealing with the issue. And I had I may have mentioned to you that I had a Mayo customer service issue. They issued me a credit note. Oh my goodness. I thought I was getting a court summons. I had to go and pick up a registered letter from Mayo. I'm thinking, oh, they're taking me to court for their mistake. That's why they're sending me a registered letter. Fortunately, my Qigong class is right next to the post office in this parochial life of mine. And there I am opening my Mayo letter, only to find out that they've sent by recorded delivery a credit note. Really, OTT. I could have seen that they've given me a credit if I just open up the accounts in the back office of Mayo. Funny things. But anyway, and yeah, that whole thing of registered letters and the way that in this different culture of Portugal, how something fairly offensive when it comes in a letter can look like you've committed, some of the most serious crimes against humanity. Public enemy number one. Making cyst leave to competitor. Okay, so AI just finding its feet, right? Teething troubles. Listening to radio presenters banging the drum for war, not showing the maturity to understand. Are we talking about? Are we talking Nick Ferrari? Is that? It's all right. James will be on in a minute. PMQs. He wants to kill different people, doesn't he? PMQs today. Shall we shall we? Another verbal showdown. Yeah, panto, right? Petrol prices, although there are rare orators, and I saw a beautiful speech by a senior politician in the House of Commons. It can be amazing sometimes. It can be what it's meant to be occasionally, very occasionally, I suspect. But there are moments when that house shows itself to be what it's trying to be. And I saw a most beautiful speech about juries, actually, because they're trying to do away with jury trials in the UK, and it was an impassioned without lots of barracking and braying from idiots. Of course, the house was empty pretty much for the best speeches. But this was a beautiful speech, and you can see all of those. You can see all of those in the age we live in. But it was remarkable and reminded me, that's what this is meant to be about. Petrol prices through the roof. Seriously, it's time to think of renewables now. Anyone with a conspiratorial view on disaster capitalism might think that you're meant to think that, Chris. And some very sensible people will be ahead of you and have invested in renewables for this very moment, ready to take your money, my friend. Sarah Yerman is here with a bon dia, as is Kate Bygrave. Bon dia todos. And a T-Duck, the moderator, with his blue spanner. Watch out for the mighty blue spanner and his moderating power. Morning, Kate. morning to you, Sarah, and to you, T-Duck. I'm distracted. T-Duck is distracted, putting the final touches on his IMA renewals there with a feather duster. No music, please. Oh, I think, this was just a feedback on how we started the show this morning. We both have EVs. Mine has only ever been charged at home. It's a game changer for us. Very interesting. Good morning, everyone from Gemini. Matty, 2 EVs, 1 4-wheel Tesla and 1 with 2 wheels. The Energica motorcycle, not a scooter. He hastens to add. He's not one of these big adults on a teen scooter that you see more and more whizzing along at great high speed. Capricorn Chris from Adrian, more than this is the potential fulfillment of the prophecy of Methodius of Patara. Obviously, nations with 18 different languages in a battle for Constantinople, mainly from the EU, including Portugal. I had no idea we were in a battle of this kind. I'm aware of lots of other battles because I'm on X, but not this one. Bon dia alegria from the Country Bear. We are trying to schedule an IMA appointment for permanent residents. Calling the number hasn't worked so far. Really? Does anyone have any tips for success with IMA? You want someone like Lydia. I'm sure she won't mind me calling her a bulldog. She started it. I suggested she have a logo that's like a dog with a bone, and she ain't letting go of that bone until mission is accomplished. Everyone needs a Lydia at times here, dealing with the bureaucracy. So we did get Welsh Jackie approved, thank goodness, and hitting the nail on the head. It's up to the individual to determine what the purpose of their life is. Well, if you've got any suggestions, though, serving suggestions gratefully received in the chat as on this philosophical note this morning, this philosophical, spiritual, and poetic note this morning. I got a generator and am planning to add some wind turbines for the winter, said Matty. I think we've dealt with that. Bon dia a todos e feliz quinta. It's Quarta, I think, today, isn't it? Heading from Rome on the train today. Unless it's that they're a day ahead now in Italy. The age of discombobulation, this could happen. We might have time zones being changed as well. Beautiful spot. Actually, changing time zones would be quite a good way for governments to collect tax early. Just put a day forward, and then you can collect. Just thinking about that in the Exchequer. Don't give them ideas. A beautiful spot about 40 minutes south. A restaurant there was recommended by a friend. Have a great day. Or touring in Italy. How lovely. And how a bit of a shame to go all that way to see England beaten by the Italians, I think, for the first time in 3,000 years at rugby. The electricity situation is Paul is never permanently solved and does need awareness. The game is that old. It's in the Bible, isn't it? That's what we were told at school. As we heard the sound of Jerusalem in our ears, standing on a freezing cold pitch, about to face mortal injury from some barbarians from another part of the city. The electricity situation is never permanently solved and does need awareness and maintenance. Absolutely. Nothing is permanently solved, my friends. Don't forget there is a battery storage for times when there is no sun. Of course. And we have sufficient for 3 days. I think that is a reason. It is. And you're in line with government guidelines. I see a PR puff from around the edges of the internet with that message. Prepare for 72 days. You bang on there, I think, Kate. I don't know why they're saying that again. For the last couple of times they've said it, lo and behold, Alla Bundia Malta, life, like most things in it, is a balance. I think we can end the show there. That's it. He's hit the nail on the head. It is all about balance. Thing is, it's like riding a bike, isn't it? There is forward momentum involved as well. You got to keep going in this life. It's not done just by coming up with a pithy aphorism. Who doesn't like a pithy aphorism first thing in the morning? Not all of us, clearly. Like most things, it's a balance. But yes, there is the forward motion. Otherwise, you fall over. You'll need a big solar panel, I think, says T. Remember the one I got a few years ago? It would take more than a week to charge my backup. Yes, fair enough. Mike, good morning to you. Quick check-in as we retrieve Karen's driver's license from the GNR. What? Not you as well. You're not the only one in this community who sent me a message of that kind. Apparently, driving down the centre lane on the 3-lane A1 is not allowed. 30-day suspension and a fine. Quiet day for those cops. Good Lord. I mean, yes, when you cross the holy white line, that gets you that sort of fine. But sitting in the middle lane, if that were true, it's that sitting in the middle lane, there would be no people on the road there for 30 days. And the exchequer again would be bulging with that infringement. Good God. Was the age of discombobulation, you see? I'm looking for evidence everywhere, and I'm getting it. Was leaving the shopping cart next to my empty parking spot even an option? I guess I am too German. Lol. So does that mean then that the German way is to take it back to das trolley park? I'm not sure what you're saying there. I would imagine from my German stereotyping that Germans would be very orderly about this and take it back and would report any engineering deficits on said trolley as well to the manager. Yes, small wind turbines are no use. My house is in a very windy location in the Algarve next to a wind farm. Hack in with a couple of crocodile clips, mate. The small wind turbine wouldn't produce the energy required. Okay. Gashtal, good morning to you. Top show. Thank you very much. Lovely to see you here in this environment. Do you take your used coffee cup up to the counter in the cafe? Oh, gosh. The other day, I took my tray back to the tray park. I don't think it's called that. But there I was putting my tray, sliding the tray into, and there's a tense moment in Portugal when you return your empty coffee cup and plate that had your pastel de nata on it. I slid it gently in. It's sounding like an erotic novel now, and I apologize for that at this time of the morning. But I gently, gingerly, a word that we use more carefully these days, into the trolley slot, only to have the tray, I think, beneath it crash to the ground, making it look like I had dropped my tray, but in fact been booby-trapped by an earlier user. And I'm trying to explain this. It wasn't me. That's my tray at the top that I've just slid in, not the one that's just fallen to the floor. And I'm having a pat on my shoulder saying, it's okay. It can happen to anyone. These things happen. And I'm thinking, I'm just going to have to walk away with a massive misunderstanding here and take it on the chin. But yes, be careful. I don't do it anymore. I put a tray directly on the worktop now. I'm not risking that again. We take our coffee cups back to the counter when we pay. There is that as well. A solar energy supply, not a solar energy supply, wind turbines, it can add energy to a solar system on low radiation days and thus extend the time before the generator needs to be started or even at all. Thank you very much for all this sustainable energy talk this morning. I took our cups back to the counter here in Rome and the staff were both surprised and very grateful. You see, also, you might be taking their jobs. That's the other thing about taking stuff back. People might, no, leave it. That's my job. How else am I going to spin out the next 3 hours in this empty cafe? Has anyone actually tested the wind turbine? I have one, but not tested it yet. Solar pretty useless here 3 to 6 months of the year, unless you have loads of panels, too little input. We're keeping T-Duck busy this morning. Well done, everyone. It's not a job he even wanted. Talking of Ava, are we going to see Tig again? I don't know. The ball is in her court. She's very welcome. Well, I'll ask her. She's normally on the first Monday of the month. Thanks, Pete, for your stats and info there. We've got to get Paul on. Very busy in the chat this morning. I always think to myself, when I do a sermon, oh, that's it. No one's going to be interested. It's going to be really quiet morning. It's going to be tumbleweed. But no, the comments are full. maybe distracting me and changing the subject, perhaps. But anyway, it's full nonetheless. We'll come back to yes, the government seems to think wind turbines work well. They put 20 on the hills near my house. Yes, right. But that may be for other reasons as well. Just one more thing, and we thank Matty for this. We when you get lemons, you've got to make lemonade. I just nearly was going to say an omelette there. That would be a pretty awful omelette, isn't it? When you get lemons, make an omelette. How although you could do that in Portugal when your neighbor turns up with the lemons and the eggs. I don't try that at home. This is a new angle. I think we've come up with this here, mainly Matty. This is something. If Portuguese tourism is in a little bit of a pickle at the moment, we've figured it out. We've taken the lemons and we've made PR lemonade. Everybody, may I present to you 300 days of sunshine, 300 days of rain in 1 year here in Portugal. That is our new tourism approach here. 300 days of sunshine, 300 days of rain. There it is, the new strategy for the Portuguese tourism initiative for 2027. Let's give him a nice big round of applause and bring him on. What do you think of that, Paul?
It's a new way of looking at things. It seems to be in the wettest winter I remember, but I'm saying that every year actually. But I've
yes.
never known the barragems even in the Algarve to be brimming over. So it's good in one respect. Yeah.
And it goes back to a point I was making earlier on about I sat next to somebody fairly new to the country who said, "Is this normal?" We just don't have that benchmark or baseline anymore, do we? What would you compare it to now?
Yeah, I mean, the year before, I suppose, but it is getting increasingly weird. I mean, the storm on the 28th of Jan was a bit of a game changer for many. We're still mopping up around here. Still the sound of chainsaws in the distance as people clear. They've been given a deadline by the camera in Pedroga Grande to clear all the tracks. So there's still a lot of places that are inaccessible. So it's
who's been given a deadline and by whom?
Landowners whose trees have fallen across public footpaths and tracks. So it's access for the bomberos, amongst other things. So
I see. Okay.
Come the warmer weather, we need to ensure that remote places are accessible. So,
sure.
But it all carries on. It all carries on. There's still roofs with flapping plastic on them, and the black market in tiles is doing well.
Oh dear!
So there are some benefits anyway. It's not bad news. The sun's come out, the flowers are out, and everyone's very positive. So the Portuguese psyche mentality is one of that's happened. Let's look forward. Always going forward because we can't find reverse is one of my mottos.
Oh, that's very good, isn't it? Yes, that's another great way of looking at things. And I think you're absolutely right. Every year, in some way, we have the amnesia going on, don't we? Yeah. As soon as the sun comes out, winter is just gone, isn't it? It's like no further thought. That's it now. The barbecue is on. You can smell fish or pork.
Yeah.
And you've got cold beer in your hand. That's it. We're done with the winter, and we will just forget about it until it happens again, which it probably will. But we're not thinking about that now.
I think it's like looking back to summer holidays and school days. There was endless sunshine and fun days on the beach, and you forget the rainy days and the days when you were fed up or bullied by your brothers, and you just the mind just remembers the good bits, which is quite a pleasant way of looking at it. If you look at the reality, if one was to diarize what actually happened, it would be a more balanced picture. But it's anyway, we move forward into what I hope will be a cracking summer.
Well said, sir. Before we go on to talk more about that and your recent activities, that you're clearly not letting nature get in the way or any other obstacle for that matter, and you're creating more beautiful work in central Portugal. Do you take your trolley back or not when you've been shopping? Do you mind me putting you on the spot like this? Maybe I should ask all guests.
Of course I do, because it's usually got £1 and €1 in it. Or an old token, and I certainly always take my coffee cup back after use, and that's just part of being British. I sort of take it back in a determined fashion, and it gives me a chance to say bom dia as well, or boa tarde. So
it's all part of British good manners, isn't it? And that British thing of wanting to be noticed whilst you're doing it as well, but not to make too much of a fuss about it. That's just such a British little vignette, isn't it? It's like, look, I'm bringing the coffee cup back because I'm a decent person and I need you to know that. Bon dia. And oh no, please don't make too much of a fuss. It's just what we do. We're British.
Yeah, it's you don't even think about it really, but anyway, it probably doesn't bear to dwell on it too much.
Let's be self-effacing once more. Okay, and
Indeed.
move on from that. So things are coming back to, well, normal. Oh, we can't say that anymore. But anyway, things are better. Things are improved for you. More the sound of chainsaws, a little bit of flapping of tarpaulin, but the sun is out. The spring flowers are restoring the beauty of central Portugal that so many of us love. That's in the air for you, is it, at the moment?
It's going to be a fantastic spring. There's daffodils out already, and the blossom is coming out. And I think everyone's mood changes with nature coming back. It's quite interesting. Because people are outside more. It's a beautiful sunny day. People are out more and bombardiering more rather than huddling away.
Bombardiering.
Bombardiering. That's what happens. But no, we have been busy. We did the final handover of the famous Casa Adelina, which is
excellent news.
It's been great, and we've taken a deposit on the old Albergaria de São Pedro, which is the old monk-run hostel. So there's work happening on that one to get that finished. So that's good. And
sorry, I'm giggling about a monk-run hostel. That just
a monk-run hostel. Yeah. It should be recreated. It's actually going to be lived in by two people who aren't monks. So certainly aren't monks. So that's going ahead. That'll be 2 or 3 months, and that will be a work of great beauty. The internal structure of that house, which is now a house, is exceptional. It's a very interesting. It's an architect's dream, really, with a great feeling to the house. Everyone knows or says when they go in, this is amazing. It's just the height and the space. It's a very interesting property. And then, as I sent you the video yesterday of the new purchase in October. I heard you mention October. Yes. October the 5th in this case. It's number 33 Rua October 5.
Oh, I see. Right.
Again in Pedroga Grande, which is I don't know if you've got the video there, but
I've got lots of images, but I'm struggling to. Oh, okay, I have found that. Now, do forgive me. Can we look at a few of your interior shots whilst that's downloading? Because it's truly delightful. The rural property design ethic. Are you happy to go through these?
Yeah, I was just creating a sort of not a design book, but just a sort of book of detail. A lot of people say, "Oh, well, what are your finishes like?" You know, you say they're above average.
Well, they really are.
And I just getting together a booklet, if you like. The kitchen in the meantime. Yeah, the kitchen in this house was chosen by the client. These are our trademark radiators.
Yes, they are, aren't they?
I was just looking last night, actually, where they're made, and if I can import them in bulk. And they do make them in Czechoslovakia and Eastern Europe.
Do they?
And France and Italy. So, but they're eye-wateringly expensive. The headline price for new, and finding second-hand ones, because they last longer than a house. Second-hand ones, they're like hen's teeth. They're very difficult to get hold of.
Wow.
So, but it'd be nice to have every house equipped with the same radiators, because they're good old stainless steel, good old cast iron.
Cast iron rats, yeah.
They heat up slowly, and you just keep them going, and they're a pleasure to look at, and they function. They function particularly well. They're not the current sort of aluminium ones heat up and cool down.
And you can hear them. You can hear them bending in the atmosphere. These are one of those home design touches that never goes out of fashion. to me. I remember.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah,
And they come in many elegant designs, but they're good, solid things. I love them very much.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's another radiator there on the right. This particular house we kept. It's got a new heat pump system, so I just kept it running low. It took probably 3 days for the house to warm up. I was going in over 3 days and touching the radiator. It was red hot, and still the house wasn't warm. And then after 3 days, I think the heat was absorbed by the walls, and it's been an absolute pleasure walking in and out. I just kept it on low.
Yes, you've affected the thermal mass, haven't you? There are some lovely.
Yeah, definitely.
There are some beautiful touches. This is lovely.
Yeah, and it is. It's an absolute pleasure going in there to fiddle about. And,
so you'll keep the occasional Portuguese furniture classic that we can see there, a marble-topped chest of drawers to the right of that picture, and the beautiful.
But that was there in that room when we bought the house.
Was it really?
So it's sort of been. It needs a bit of repair, but the new owner said, "Could she have it, please?" And I said, "Absolutely." And that table came from a nearby farmhouse that she wanted as well, so it's fine. It's
really wonderful.
Cost me nothing. So
right, and she's very happy.
It's been a pleasure working on this, and we're starting to develop a sort of house style, if you like. Each house is different, but touches like the radiators and the colouring and the sconces and things like that are start to build an element of design into.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it
really is.
I'm pushed by Concepto Studio in Portimao to follow rigorously their every design detail, but I mix that with the practicality of development, and we end up with a hybrid that even they have said works extremely well. Have some very positive comments on the finished article, even though it doesn't accord exactly to their rigorous instruction.
But that's why they do it, isn't it? Isn't that why a designer will be such a pain in a way, is to know that only some of it's going to stick, but if some of it does stick, you end up with an amazing result. And I think that's what they've got there. And what's it like for them? I mean, Portimao is a very different part of Portugal in some ways, and the design ethic demand is different there as well. How have they responded to the brief? I imagine they've quite liked this little bit of contrast in central Portugal.
They have long experience of not just the Algarve. They've worked all over the country. Their main business, the Concepto, was born from Studio Arte, which is a well-known Algarve-based architect firm, and that was run for over 20 years by Arnold Arsen. And he then sold that last year and set up Concepto Studio with Eric de Bruyne, who has a long history of design in hotel and leisure. So the two of them together, now they're old enough and wise enough to be doing the things that they like doing. So they set up the studio and fortunately chose us as one of their clients. They just work with people they know, and I've known them for 20 years. So so it's been an interesting process, but they have they're not totally Algarve centric. They've got a long history of internationally and across this country. So there's October the 5th, Red October.
They've got design, and Eric de Bruyne just sounds like he should be driving a Saab and wearing some of those, architect type glasses, and he just sounds like what he does.
He drives an old BMW. It's almost as old as my car. So.
Oh, really? That says a lot about a man as well, though, doesn't it? I think. Very good. Very good.
Absolutely. So they're good, and we're working with them on some modular home designs at the moment, which will be well-priced modular homes with a high element of design in them, rather than just a shed plonked in a field. So it'll be individually designed modular, which will bring us into a lower price point in the market, sort of below 150, nearer to 100,000, which is a development we're working on right now. In fact, we're just buying the first site is being purchased next Wednesday.
How exciting! So tell me more, if you can, tell me more about that, because I think you're making a reference to something that goes on in Portugal, and it's understandable why it does. You know, plonking a shed in a field is something we can all relate to, and in many ways would like to do. But you're taking that to a new level.
Well, I think the shed plonking is where this industry's come from.
Right.
From the ground upwards. There are some luxury products, but they're sort of 2,000 euros a square meter. They're the sort of beachside luxury, the luxury end of the market. There's a demand in rural Portugal for comfort and heating and good pricing. So
Yes.
if you can combine the three elements with design and a nice site, so certainly we're adept at finding good sites. That's what
You are.
That's what we do day in, day out. But to find either greenfield, brownfield, or village sites where we can effectively remove a ruin and place something in its stead. So, yeah, it's working with the designers to create design themes and with the right manufacturers to create the right AAA insulation, etc., and solar panels and this, that, and the other. So to then produce individual products, but in a price bracket to encourage people to come here. And I think maybe it's just being British, but when you talk about modular homes, people think of prefabs. Yeah,
absolutely.
You can only afford a prefab. Look at Scandinavia; that's what they live in anyway. So what I want to do is create something. If someone has a budget to move to this country, they have a housing budget of 100,000. I want to be able to say, okay, I've got something for you, and you can come here and live happily, rather than 200, 250 for something that's freezing cold, and they spend half their pension on heating it.
Oh, so, Paul, you're onto something. You are so onto something with that. That is such a good idea. And part of, I think, the future, the evolution of how we live, really. I mean, it's a great response to the times we live in and what's possible. And also, it's all sorts of, you're quite the trend spotter, I have to say, because there is something else that you remarked upon, and Pete was reiterating. I don't know what it is, some change in consciousness in the Portuguese population to move from the big cities and back to the countryside. It's happening, isn't it? And we never thought it. Well, I wasn't sure it would. I didn't know how it could. I hoped it would, but I didn't see any evidence of it. But it's beginning to happen, I think. And it's a great thing.
Well, I mean, it started with COVID, but I think a lot of Portuguese, and I generalise hugely, so apologies.
Me too.
Now, moving from the cities to the countryside is part of people's pension and retirement planning, because people go on, oh, Lisbon's unaffordable, Porto's unaffordable. For every house that's sold, Portuguese owners are rubbing their hands saying, thank you very much. I'm several 100,000 better off in terms of pension planning. Let's move to the house we inherited in 1978 from our great-great-grandfather. Let's spend 50,000 doing that up and actually retire back to where we came from. So it's a very interesting dynamic. You know, the cities are big and expensive and costly. You know, coffee's a couple of euros. Here it's still 65 cents. So it makes a great deal of sense if one is retiring early, or creating a weekend home that then will become a permanent home.
And they're very good at it. I've seen great examples. And I think they've been sort of prototyping it with AL as well, haven't they? Some Portuguese families. So
I think that helps on the creating the desire. We've got one house I'm not going to develop. It's a beautiful stone farmhouse, and it's to sale as is. And the last person that looked at it was working out whether it was doable at weekends from where she lived in Lisbon. And the longer term is then to have weekends and holidays there. The longer term is to move there.
Yeah.
So
great.
selling a good few square meters somewhere in the Lisbon metropolitan area will help fund a long and happy retirement. So it is an interesting dynamic. You read the media and it's all doom and gloom and nobody can afford anything. Well, the people that are selling can afford quite a lot, and
Yeah.
far more than they planned to have, 5-10 years ago. So
They're just not very useful politically, are they? A great
no,
success story of that kind. It doesn't fit into
yeah,
any ideological narrative to beat people with. Not yet, anyway.
blame the foreigners. Yeah, blame the
Yeah, I mean,
foreigners.
one challenge I think that's come up with that, of course, just recently in the last week or so, is the cost of living in the countryside. And to meet that, I think we do have to localize country life, don't we, to make it less necessary to be using lots of fuel to get to places to live your life. So I'm hoping that those villages will grow and those towns will be regenerated so
Yeah,
that people can have what are the obvious benefits of 15-minute cities. I mean, there is, like with all of these ideas that eventually get weaponized against us, there is some
yeah.
good, there is some intrinsic good. To live locally is
It-
a great thing, I think. And if that can happen in the countryside, that's going to be a great thing.
Yeah, definitely. But buy a freezer. If you analyze shopping in an urban environment, I'd say 50% of it is completely unnecessary. If you're in a village, stuff gets hung on your doorknob every morning anyway. So in terms of self-sufficiency, people start growing vegetables and start having chickens and welcomed by neighbours. There's a huge surplus created in every village in Portugal every year.
It's true, isn't
That
it?
is
Yeah.
spread amongst the old and incapable and the foreigners. And I put those all in the same bracket. The key things is transport. It's access to the services. So camera, finances, freguesia, health service, and linking up to a railway station or bus route to get to airports and the coast and whatever you want to do. So people make sane choices based on their predicted lifestyle.
Yeah.
But in terms of, I've got to be 5 minutes from a supermarket, you just don't need it. I mean,
Yeah, you need to change the way you live. You're absolutely right. That's a good point. And on the matter of, I did have your video. Oh, I'll come back to that. But Portugal, I do see, and these are taken with a pinch of salt sometimes. Like the high-speed rail. But apparently, this could be a good thing for that infrastructure that you speak about. Alstom, that's a train manufacturer, will supply 153 new Odisseia, not steam trains, stream trains to Comboios de Portugal. This 1.03 billion contract will strengthen suburban services in Lisbon, Porto, Cascais, and improve regional mobility across the country. So maybe it's not the road rising to meet people's feet; it's the rail rising to meet people's feet, and also another step towards the community living that I'm sure is on your radar as well. Not just the one person buying a modular home, but thinking about who they want to be in proximity with and sharing facilities with those people. That's an obvious next step as well, isn't it, for foreigners coming to Portugal?
Yeah, it's in all the chat rooms, and a lot of people want to be in a community with central facilities and all that. I've never known one that works. Stop me if I'm wrong.
I get you.
Yeah,
Yes.
I see a lot of, especially Dutch and German, saying, "Yeah, we will all live together." What I find is people that have tried that, it hasn't worked, and they want to be on their own. So,
Yeah.
No, I won't be creating cohabiting, co-living workspace stuff. That's another market, and not for me. I'm going to.
Okay, fair enough. You're not going to be making people. You're not going to make
No.
people do mindfulness exercises first thing in the morning in the communal garden.
And, a fan as I am of gong therapy. If someone's got a headache in the morning, you really don't want it next door. So no, we'll create individual bio, eco, green, self-sufficient, energy zero homes with basically good insulation and a nice view, and something that looks very attractive, and that if you need to, you can resell easily. So
okay, Paul. I mean, fair enough. I'll declare my hidden agenda. I want to be the Basil Fawlty of one of these communities of aging foreigners, so that I can walk around in the morning saying things like "Morning, Major," and just make sure everyone's all right. Do my little radio show for the community. Maybe a bit of bingo in the evenings. Good luck. Okay, you're not going to be there, I take it.
Right? No, there are plenty of places that will take you in.
Thank you. Yes, that can be applied in so many different ways. Can't do that phrase.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at this building anyway, because we're nearly
Yes.
over.
We're nearly there, aren't we?
As my old friend Eddie once said,
if
you're going to buy a house, buy a big one. So this is Rural Properties' latest acquisition. Paid the promissory contract this morning. It's in Rua 5 de Outubro in Pedroga Grande. And what a fine old lady she is, with land out the back. Some original features, at least. There was a shop down below on each side, and a very grand, noble house above. Its twin, that is in an excellent state of repair, is 3 buildings along, all part of the same family historically. So this one I look forward to getting some plans done.
So what's that going to look like then? What's your vision for that one?
Just quickly, it's twin. It was 2 brothers that made a fortune out of agriculture and agricultural produce, and they each built a house. That's why it's a twin. So we're buying this one off the descendants of one side of the family, and the other side of the family has remained financially solvent and is living quite happily in a very elegant house, in the historic zone. So it's I did ask why this one's come up for sale, and the guy said, well, basically it's the first time we've spoken to that side of the family for 40 years. So
is that right?
So there's obviously some cross ownership. So
God,
so that's
what must it have been like?
It will be apartments. The house is in not a good state. The roof needs repair. It needs gutting, basically. There's I'll keep a lot of the wood features and the doors and reincorporate them, but the floors are gone. It's in a not a good state at all. So it will be a series of probably 7, 8, or 9 apartments.
Brilliant. That's great.
It's huge. It's a big project, but actually quite simple. If one accepts that the interior has to be removed and the new roof put on, you can then redesign the interior in a very elegant, almost a Lisboeta way, with the high ceilings and those trademark radiators, obviously.
And by Lisboeta. Okay, that's not. In just a moment there. Oh yeah, we're back again, Paul. I don't know what happened there. Yeah. But in a Lisboeta way, it's like the apartment on a windy road with a tram going outside, where you can throw open the French windows to the narrow street outside, wooden floors, high ceilings, that sort of thing. Is that the Lisboeta design?
Yeah, it is. It's the more elegant townhouses with the high ceilings, wood, beautiful mouldings.
Yes.
In the posher areas of Lisbon, where there's some incredible work going on. There's some superb developers doing amazing work, and we will try and emulate. This house warrants the top of the range conversion. It's not a quick fix.
Amazing. So that's going to be the high end of the rural properties portfolio and the modular home project. When will we see more about that? When can we get our teeth into that?
Well, we're just buying the first land, and the thing about modular is it's quick. Still got to apply for planning permission, but that particular council says they'll turn them around quickly if it's all the same architect and it's us. So we'll hopefully get them turned around. The council, a huge open door, that anything that brings more people to rural areas, they're absolutely behind. With the new mayor in Pedroga Grande, he's extremely positive about the company and what we're doing, which is good. For example, on October the 5th house, the council they're exercising their right of purchase on really anything in the historic area. And before we did the deal on this house, the the president said that that if we bought it, he wouldn't exercise that right, which is good. So
that's really awesome. And
just say saves.
Maybe one of these days. Oh, look what's happening here now. That's bizarre, isn't it? Anyway, maybe the mayor will come with you one of these mornings and issue that open door to his locality. That would be amazing to have a Portuguese mayor on to get that sort of perspective on things. Who knows?
I'll see if he speaks English. I'm sure he does.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's great news, Paul. Love. Oh, that was inevitable, wasn't it? The tea towel holder straight into the camera as usual when cats get to. I think this cat is trying to jump onto the green screen. This could be worth watching, quite frankly. So I'm gonna leave, there we go. I'm leaving the camera running. The cat is now on the top of the green screen. This could be fantastic. The magic of showbiz could be ruined at any moment now. Rural-properties.com is how to keep in touch with Paul. Always great to chat with you. And look forward to seeing you again in a month's time. Keep up with the great work, Paul. And it's lovely that it seems like a corner has been turned in central Portugal, and we're putting the worst of things behind us. I know some people still need help. Yeah. And we need to be mindful of that, don't we? There are people who still need help in central. Let's give them that help, and let's look forward to spring and summer.
Good stuff. And I'll see you in a month.
Paul. All right, ciao. See you. Bye for now. Now, I'm staying on screen. Great stuff from Paul. Isn't that fantastic with the modular housing there? I'm staying on screen with a few things, not the cat, thankfully. The cat has gone now. We do have a terrible map of Portugal here. You might have to go to the Portugal Club yourself, but this is a Portugal stereotypes. I think it's been, it's been done by a Brazilian, so this could get eggy. Oh, dear. The Portuguese Venice is on there. You know where that is. However, Venice does, as far as I'm aware, does not have a sign up saying the Aveiro of Italy. Defeated the Spanish here. You can see what happens. What else is there? Booze and foreigners. You know which part of Portugal they're referring to there. We went. Oh, I'll put this on the screen for a moment. See if you can decode this. This is again of Brazilian origin with some Portuguese language here, of course. You see how that works? That's clever, isn't it? T. Hanks and obrigado. There, okay. Maybe you need more time on that. And learn to play pickleball Sundays. I was with Colin last night. He suggested I share this. Is he in that picture? I don't think he is. Unleash your inner pickleballer. You may not even know that you had one of those, but you can unleash your inner pickleballer. When's this happening? I believe next Sunday. Oh, is it every Sunday? The Rua de Junsal number 2, every Sunday, 10:30 a.m. Silver Coast Pickleball. I'm not sure if this is Caldas or out in the country a little. Either way, you're going to have a great time, I suspect. All skill levels welcome, no experience needed. Fun, friendly, and adult social vibe. Nets and balls provided. So that's learn to play pickleball Sundays, thanks to Colin there. And I think I've got that little video. Every day now I'm putting up the notes of yesterday's show. If you want to pick through there, if there's something you missed and you're trying to pick up on that, hopefully that's a useful service to you. Now, did that video download? I need to go and find that. But yeah, wishing you a wonderful quarta-feira. And yes, I've got the video, which I'm going to download now. Download speeds, not so. But I am pretty impressed so far. And you shouldn't say that out loud whilst you're broadcasting live. But I have to say, I'm pretty pleased with the setup so far as we've got it with the off-grid. I am broadcasting off-grid right now. We are using 195 watts. And the battery, having had the grid plug pulled out this morning, is still at 80% capacity. So good times for going off-grid and running the Good Morning Portugal show. On the morning where we shared with you the new tourist strategy, 300 days of sunshine and 300 days of rain here in Portugal. Come and enjoy it all. And I'm just going to upload a little video now by way of closing from yesterday evening. Rather kind of bittersweet. This was the beautiful setup that Anna over at Biocultural had set up ahead of our quiz night. Sadly, not to be. We're going to be having lunch there today, and the quiz that I was going to host last night will be happening next Tuesday, the 17th. So do join us for that. What's this? I do not know why you're saying that, T-Duck, at the moment. Thankfully, you didn't have to moderate yourself on that. Oh, Venice is always pretty clean, says Pete. Not according to T-Duck, it would appear. If only the Italian Aveiro was as clean as the Portuguese one, says Andeiro. They're in defense. This is getting ridiculous today. Why is today any different? Carl is freezing up from Bluetti having a hiccup. Maybe that. There it is. That's the pride coming before a fall, is it not? I think we're okay now. I think we are. And Carl, reposition your dish as you need a wider sky. Don't we all? Maybe Carl can make it approve everything automatically. Then I can delete anything awful. I don't like doing this. Okay, T-Duck, don't worry. Stand down. Stand down. Someone else might like it with a different thirst for power. Carl, your current setup does freeze your stream of the camera and audio while the banner keeps rolling. Okay, all right. Let's back to the drawing board then. All part of the teething troubles in the age of discombobulation as we evolve into something new. And I do have that video ready for you now. I'm not frozen at the moment. I just put that slide up there. Look, I'm going to come back onto the screen before we go out with the little video made of the beautiful setup for the quiz last night. There we go. I think we're okay now. I don't think I'm frozen. You just never know, do you? I suppose if everyone's complaining about me frozen, it is at this end rather than yours. But anyway, have a great day. Take care. Bye for now. Ciao, ciao. And we'll see you tomorrow for Quinta-feira. So this was our scene all set and ready for our quiz tonight at Biocultural. We've got guests arriving who are being told that because of the water outage on this occasion, we can't cook this evening. So we're a bit sad tonight. So we will have to reschedule. We're rescheduling for tomorrow lunchtime, and we will go again next week. Look, even some lovely seats at the bar here. Look at that little team at the bar. But sadly, we can't even get a nice bebida. But we will be back tomorrow lunchtime, Wednesday, back into the schedule on from next Tuesday evening. And there's my little table here, the Quizmaster's table with the vinyl turntable behind. Oh, and look, here's a little quiz for you. Who are these folks here? If I cover up their names, who are these famous Portuguese figures here? That's an easy one, isn't it? There you go, getting a bit dark in the corner there. Isn't that fantastic? What a lovely place this is. Looking forward to being back here and doing the quiz next week. Ciao, ciao.